Alright, some crazy stuff has happened since my last Nintendo Switch and RPG news, and I definitely want to go over a number of different things. We've got Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Unicorn Overlord, REYNATIS, a really cool looking AA action RPG, and more on the making of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But before we get into any of that, what's good everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get the best Nintendo Switch and RPG news. Now let's go ahead and jump right into this aionios-moments-key-points-translation. Now I don't want to go over everything because it's just a bunch of information, but essentially what you've been seeing from Xenoblade fans over the past weekend or so is the Xenoblade 3 official artworks, Aionios Moments, and hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I always have a little bit of trouble with the Xenoblade 3 world name, but anyway, there was a huge art book that was released in Japan, and it's not been officially translated to English yet, but in this art book there is a ton of interviews and a ton of artwork and different things that give you more information on the characters of Xenoblade, the lore of Xenoblade, and what happened in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and what happened of the different characters. So obviously this is spoilers if you have not played Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3, plus the DLCs for them as well, Future Redeemed, in addition to Torna the Golden Country. But there's a lot of information there, and it's got me way more excited for what the potential of Xenoblade could be in the future. I don't think that Xenoblade is done. Some people feel that Xenoblade, after Xenoblade 3 and Future Redeemed, that the series is done because of what some of the stuff that Monolith Soft has said in the past, and I don't think so at all. If anything, this official artworks has just opened up so many more possibilities in terms of what they could do when it comes to the Xenoblade world. The Cloth Saga is just one part of that. There's so many different areas that you can go into, and I would not be surprised in the next 5 years or so we see a new Xeno something else, Xenoblade whatever, or Xeno whatever the case is, and it's maybe after the Cloth Saga or what happened at some point simultaneously with the Cloth Saga in a different dimension. So it's very exciting. I will leave a link to the xenomira.wordpress.com blog. There you can check out the translations from the official artwork. Now there's a couple different things with this though, guys. Like, once again, it is spoiler territory, but it will give you a whole new light, like a whole new fresh eyes or mind when it comes to Xenoblade. And once again, it's just, to me, solidifies why Xenoblade Chronicles is the best story, the best RPG story overall. Like, when you combine everything all together, the lore, the story, the history, what they've been able to do in a mere 14 years, not even 14 years, actually 12 years, because Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out in 2022 and then Future Redeemed came out in 2023. So let's just say 13 years. What they've been able to do from 2010 to 2023, what they've been able to build with the Xenoblade franchise and that story spanning so many different aspects and being able to weave it all together is just incredible. I've never seen anything like that. Very excited for the future of Xenoblade. And yeah, check out the link in the description if you want more on the full translation post. And then maybe at some point I'll make a dedicated video talking about this and probably have some people on as like a big discussion spoiler, whatever the case is. But yeah, very excited for whatever Monolith Soft is doing. And speaking of that, I do want to talk just briefly on what their next project is. Now, I've already made multiple videos, so I'll also have those linked in the description if you want to check out my what's next for Monolith Soft and their new IP. But I do feel that it's going to be something different. I think it's going to be something new for the next Nintendo Switch, and then they'll kind of circle back over to Xenoblade. But yeah, I do expect their next project to be something different. It's going to be an RPG. It's going to be probably a big open-ended type of game, but it'll probably be a new IP, and then they'll probably circle back to Xenoblade after they're done with this, and we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, it's very exciting times. It looks like Monolith Soft is doing incredible overall, and they've got some of the best RPG developers, best devs in the world working there, and really passionate about what they've done, because I think that reading through all of this, that's what kind of came through with their projects, is passion. The passion is there, so, and the storytelling is obviously there. And I feel that with the next Nintendo Switch system, I think things are going to come together even better than what we saw on the Nintendo Switch with the various different Xenoblade games. So what do you guys think about that? You can let me know in the comment section. But speaking of coming together, let's talk about Unicorn Overlord, because this game is doing probably the best that we've seen for a vanillaware game in quite some time or ever, because we've got an official confirmation that Unicorn Overlord shipments and digital sales are over 500,000 units, 500,000 plus already for Unicorn Overlord, and in record-breaking time for the company. So total worldwide shipments and digital sales for tactical RPG Unicorn Overlord have surpassed 500,000 worldwide. Publisher Atlas and developer Vanillaware has announced. Now, Unicorn Overlord launched officially for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, and the Nintendo Switch on March 8th. A demo is also available for you to check out, and it does transfer over to the full game, and it's a big beefy demo. It's like 6-7 hours. You can get a lot of the game. So I highly recommend anyone, if you're unsure about this, but if you love tactical RPGs like Triangle Strategy, if you love Fire Emblem, if you like Tactics Ogre, if you like games like that, FF Tactics, I think that this is the perfect game. And that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing people who have been longing for those type of games. We don't get high-end AA, high-end AAA type of games, which Unicorn obviously does not have a AAA budget, so I'm not even trying to imply that it does, but the developers did run out of money while they were making this. They talked about how Vanillaware, they ran out of money. It took a while for them to reach 1 million units with 13 Sentinels. I think it took the Nintendo Switch and 4+ years of them to finally hit the 1 million mark, so it's not like cash is flowing into Vanillaware. And while they're developing this game, which is a bigger game than 13 Sentinels and has way more mechanics and systems, they just kind of blew through what they made with 13 Sentinels. And I do think that this is a good sign, because it is a nice cash flow for them to kind of get back up and say, okay, we were making a little bit of money here with this, or a lot of bit of money with this, depending on how you look at it, and we can continue on here. There hasn't even been any major discounts or price drops or anything like that. And remember, this was achieved in less than a month after the release. So less than a month after the release, they've already gotten there. So later in the year, once we have price drops, once we have some discounts, things like that, I think that this game is going to continue to do steady across the time. And that's what you see with Vanillaware games. You see them do pretty steady. If you look at Odin Sphere, if you look at Dragon's Crown, games like that, they always did really steady over the course of time. But we're seeing with this one that we saw a pretty big explosion at the top. And let me give you guys a perfect reason why. You need to make sure, if you're a RPG developer, if you're making games, you've got to have good parity, and you've got to have a launch on Nintendo Switch or Nintendo platforms in addition to PlayStation. If you have those, I think that you can have a much more focused release. Now, it would have been nice if it was on PC. I got into a discussion with somebody on Twitter about that. There's no PC release, which that would have been great, Steam Deck, whatever the case is, but at the bare minimum, you absolutely need to have, for a lot of these Japanese developers, make sure that you have a good Nintendo version, a good PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, whatever the case is. And if you can get Xbox, you can get PC, of course, in there. We're seeing a lot of developers now kind of go more towards that with the games that were traditionally just PlayStation. Vanillaware used to be pretty much just launch only on PlayStation and then maybe port to other systems because of the cost of development. But this is part of the reason why they said, hey, we need to actually have this multi-platform development. And it's paid off big for them with over 500,000 in less than a month, which I'm pretty sure that's their fastest selling title in quite some time, if not ever. So very good news when it comes to Unicorn Overlord selling over 500,000 units. And I implore all of you guys to check out the demo. If you have not picked it up, check it out. If you love the tactics games, love strategy RPGs, this game is absolutely worth it. There's plenty of content in there. It's pretty much on every platform. So definitely check out the game. It's really good. Plus it plays and looks really good on the Nintendo Switch OLED as well. Now let's move over to another game that I'm really excited about, and it's called REYNATIS. This was announced at the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase in Japan only, and then we got a confirmation shortly after that it's going to be coming over here. NIS America is going to be taking care of it, and it's looking good. We got 45 minutes of new gameplay. It gives us a look at the combat mechanics, the tutorial, the open world or the open-ended areas with the city, and kind of what you're going to be doing as these dual protagonists, one on the side of trying to hold back or curtail the magic users, the other on the side of the liberation of the magic users, because you have like this dynamic of people who know how to use magic are kind of looked down upon. It's elite illegal. It's a bad thing in the city because they're scared of them, almost like witches or something like that. And you have like this dual opposing views of someone who's on the side at first, at least of the people trying to curtail them, like the police or like the magic police, and the people who are trying to liberate everything and show people the truth behind the organization. So it's actually a pretty cool setup, and the gameplay looks good. Once again, it's not some type of huge AAA type of game or anything like that, but it is a really nice AA RPG that's looking to be pretty fun. It's got some cool mechanics to where you can kind of dodge out of the way and kind of slow down time a little bit. You've got a lot of different varied attacks that you can do with your magic systems, and I think it's going to have an interesting enough story to kind of push things along. So this is exactly the type of game that I love to see being made. We need more in that line of the AA type of RPG. We talked about Unicorn Overlord and the success that that game's had, and we just need more titles like this to be out there and actually do well. So I'm excited to see exactly how this game shapes up, but I do want to go over just a couple more different things with this game in terms of the key features. So you have the freedom versus order, which I discussed a bit, and the wizard Marin and the official Sari stand on opposing sides of the conflict that will shake the world to its core. You can experience an enthralling story that tackles oppression, clashing ideals, and the price of freedom. So like I was talking about, that opposing type of view is pretty cool now that we're seeing it in motion a little bit. You also have the City of Secrets. You can navigate the streets of Shibuya and choose between remaining concealed to talk to civilians, shop and accept quests, or exposing your true self to harness your inhuman powers. Your journey will also take you into an alternate world of Another, a fantasy land teeming with ferocious monsters and secrets to uncover, which also gives me a little bit of the astral chain vibes, like when you go to like the other world in there as well and you fight different things. So I think there's a little bit of inspiration, probably a lot of bit of inspiration from astral chain in games like that. Now you have might and magic. You can really swap between using evasive maneuvers in suppressed mode and utilizing magic to deal explosive damage in liberated mode. Each of the 6 different playable characters has their own unique abilities, from summoning to aerial attacks, and that 6 different playable characters was interesting. They didn't show all 6 in here. I think we got to look at 2 of them, but I think it's going to be pretty cool to see how the different characters stack up and what type of powers and what they can do amongst each other. So very excited for this game. REYNATIS is due out for the PS4, PS5, and the Nintendo Switch on July 25th in Japan, and then we will get it later in the fall here in the US and the Western territories for PS5, PS4, Switch, and they're adding in PC via Steam. So there will be a PC official release. So that's definitely a good thing. Hopefully it plays good on Steam Deck for those out there that like that. So what do you guys think about REYNATIS? You can let me know in the comment section, but we do have one more topic here that we're going to get into, and that's the 4-part documentary series that FF7 Rebirth has just released. Now I haven't watched the full thing. I just kind of wanted to get a vibe on what this is about, but you can see that they spent a lot of time and effort and passion and care into this. So I do want to talk about it a bit. So Square Enix has released a 4-part documentary series for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth titled Inside Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which uncovers the stories behind the making of the RPG through the eyes of the development team. Quote, in this 4-part documentary series, deep dive into the creation of this new standalone RPG with candid insights and never before heard stories from the lineup of the series directors, artists, designers, and voice talent, reads the press release. This series offers fans and newcomers a backstage pass to hear secrets about the game's vast and vibrant world, the powerful bonds between party members, and the rich, multifaceted stories and quests that await in this legendary adventure. So yes, there are a ton of developers that worked on the game that are in this documentary, which is pretty cool, from music to graphics to writing, just to the voices. It's really cool to see the dynamics between all the different characters, and yeah, it's pretty cool. You can watch the whole thing right now. I don't think that there's really any spoilers in this at this point, so I think that you can probably watch it if you haven't beat the game or if you haven't played it yet. Like I stated, I did watch a little bit of it. It's got really high production value and everything in terms of the camera work and all of that. So yeah, check it out if you're interested in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or you want to see exactly how these games are created. So that's going to wrap it up for this video here, guys. What do you think about the RPG news, Nintendo Switch news that we went over? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch and RPG videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.